out of nowhere. My goodness.
No, it's not out of nowhere. I think that.
Oh boy.
You wanted this.
No, I'm just.
Don't say,
I'm
oh boy.
asking. I'm just.
I just think that, and this is going to sound really deep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and this is going to sound like a lot of ideas all at once, right?
A verbal stream of consciousness. We love it.
This is a verbal stream of consciousness.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, when you really pay attention to it, no one in the history of rap, well, maybe in the history of rap, I'm sure there was some, like, beatboxing, beat-breaking fucking with, like, I don't know, LL Cool J on it in, like, the 80s or some shit like that. But in this current time, no other rapper has come up with a marketing strategy as genius as marketing hip-hop to kids through a kind of, children's TV show character. You know what I think? I think, and another thing, like we give Nicki Minaj her props and her flowers all day long, but one thing we haven't given her flowers for is really just kind of like what she did, like just the social and psychological aspects of her, like, marketing genius. Nowhere in hip hop have I ever seen any rapper try to marry the world of, like, the kid show character, or like the kid show character, like the adult on the kid show, and hip hop. And I feel like there's a long, like, college paper that needs to be written on that, because it's really interesting. A child has a bigger chance of trusting the guy from Yo Gabba Gabba than he does trusting a Foxy Brown, So when you think about all of the things that Nicki has done to bring female rap forward, and you see it in artists like Doja Cat and just like a couple of other artists who try to mimic that, kids TV show character approach to international fucking global success that Nicki Minaj made. Except Doja really isn't as funny. She's cute, but she's just not as funny. Like, Nicki is, like, authentically funny. And she could bridge the gap between, like, the mother who's watching her kid watch Nick Jr. But I think that's where a lot of Nicki's frustration may come from. And I also think it's a lot, or actually, yeah, I think it's, like, the main point that everyone's missing in this kind of, like, obsession have with replacing one female rapper with the next female rapper, with the next female rapper, with the next female rapper. Like, you're never gonna replace Nicki Minaj, like, these girls they can intimidate her, or can imitate her and do all that other shit, and maybe even intimidate her, because it's clear that the girls don't come out on their own. There's always, like, some white male financial interest behind goofier or as funny as Nicki Minaj is when it comes to hip hop. Like, nobody's as goofier. And this is like I'm a Little Kim stan. Like, I love all the girls, but nobody is as goofy and as fucking funny. Funny in real life, but to translate that into music, I don't think I've heard something from Cardi like that. Like, trust me, Cardi's hard as fuck. Like, she's hard and she's swagged the fuck out. But just, comedy, like straight up comedy. Nicki is the only one who has, like, straight up fucking comedy in her music. About this new era is that it's obvious that a lot of these girls have little to no talent, and that they're just kind of being given a script. And in the case of Doja Cat, I've been feeling bad for Doja Cat sometimes, because I can tell that even at the peak of her career, like, there was a sense of unhappiness. She wasn't at the peak because she was making the music she wanted to make. She was making the music that Dr. knew how to market and promote. You know, like a lot of those songs are fucking dorky as hell. They're dorky as hell, but you know, she's got her Grammy, she's got her thing. So hopefully that has been worth something. But all of the, you know, her saying she's sad and stuff like that, like, yeah, it does get sad when you don't get to make the music that you really want to fucking make. But with that said, what I think we have all managed to miss is the fact that every girl since Nicki Minaj, with the exception of Azealia Banks, because I really just like hijacked niggas beats, like I really like Debo nigga shit and like harassed niggas and like like I really like came up in the spot like a gangster, like yo, like sneaking into bars and drinking when I wasn't supposed to be drinking and just being just a little dirty downtown rat. You know what I'm saying? What I think we have missed is that all of these girls that have come out in Nicki's image and like after her have all been backed by white men. You know, so while the audience gets caught up in a back and forth about like whether Cardi keeps it real or not, or Nicki keeps it real or not, or da-da-da-da-da, you got to understand that Cardi is being funded by a white person to do that. You know what I mean? Iggy was being funded by a white person to do that. Doja's being funded by a white person to get into a yacht, whatever that is. You know, she's being funded to do that. And this all to say, not to like knock anyone's success or take anything away from anyone, that just as an audience, let's be clear about who we're putting pressure on and for what reasons. But anyways, I think we should really begin to discuss Nicki Minaj in a very kind of like academic way, because there are lots of parts that haven't been discussed and haven't been explored when you just think about, okay, like let's take Onika Tanya Mirage out of the picture and you just think of Nicki Minaj as a commodity. Like there's a lot that has yet to been, or yet to be, or you know, like everybody's been writing their fucking think pieces, but everyone has kind of missed the most obvious thing, the most obvious genius part of it all. And you know, just from like speaking from an artist's point of view, being misunderstood on such a large scale can really like wreak havoc on your fucking mental health and have you doing shit and saying shit and feeling ways that you shouldn't feel, you know. I also think audiences need to realize that a lot of their propensity to just jump at celebrities and feel like celebrities can take, you know, verbal abuse, physical abuse, or, oh, well, they're rich and famous, like problems of the rich and famous and da-da-da-da-da. All, you know, like, I feel like the audience really needs to check themselves and check that internal bias and realize that, like, regardless of what pictures you see moving around on your phone, like, artists are still individual people with skin and bones and stomach and blood and, you know, health that we need to fucking maintain. The thing about white men, because you know, white men with money can very easily dismiss any claim. You know, it's almost like in this day and age, it's more of an offense to be called a racist than to actually be a racist. And this is not a racism thing at all. This is more so just a capitalism thing. So for a very long time, you know, you see Young Money and Nicki Minaj, they have like this huge fucking share of the pie, you know, whether, and it might even have been as big as the entire music pie, let alone just the hip hop pie, you know. Lil Wayne went off his way. Drake is Canadian, so, you know, good old Canadians, they're great with money. Canadians are really fucking good with money. I might need to like marry a Canadian, but anyways, yeah, Nicki had this independence and she was just like, you know, like, shit, I made it. Like, every black woman wants to feel that, like, shit, I made it to the top. But when you make it to the top, it's not like a bunch of like white men screaming Black Lives Matter and clapping for you. Like, they like, once you make it to the top, they're just inherent disgust for the fact that you're black goes away and you look like competition to them. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're black, female, and rich, you become like mega fucking dangerous. Mega, 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 mega dangerous. But, I still feel like there's a fight in this for her. But the fight has to come with like some sacrifices. And I feel like I've always felt like a part of, because these people are so sinister. You don't get how sinister these people are. Like, I remember being like 20, going around for my first round of music industry executive meetings, and I remember Monty Lipman from Universal Republic looking me in my eye and saying, "Do you know that you are so talented that there are going to be people who want you to die?" And I backed up and I said, "What the fuck did you just say?" Say that these people will stop at nothing to win, because winning for them is just an uptick on a fucking graph. Like, these people will create all kinds of fucking scenarios, and it's really fucking creepy. Like, when you hear Michael Jackson talking about, I always feel like somebody's watching me, it's very fucking true. Niggas are always watching you. They're always watching you. And now that we have things like Uber Eats, and we have like, these cell phones and all this other stuff, because there have been plenty of times where like somebody has put something in my fucking drink, or some food just didn't taste right. Like, I remember I was in Madrid and I was eating like a can of fish. Like, I don't know, I like cans of fish. It's just like kind of funky. It's like cat food. But anyways, and I have been eating these cans of fish since I've been like, all of a sudden my stomach just started garbling, like garbling. And I remember having to cancel that show because I just could not. Like, I literally could not. I was like, yo, if I like shit on myself on stage, like, that's the end of my fucking career. But people do stuff like that. People from your past, they'll like give them an incentive to go back in. Like, yo, the way you could get set up is made to look a fucking fool in this industry. And you don't even know like what happened. Like, you just came out the house for a fucking drink, and next thing you know, you're in handcuffs. Like, yeah, people do shit like that. And then in comes the black identity politics, like when you have no proof, because these people do this shit so fucking like stealthily. When you have no proof, or even if you have proof, you know that if you release that proof, they're going to start fucking with you some more. And the whole public is just laughing at you, and they don't even know, like, what just happened to you, or the type of shit that, like, like the type of paranoia, the type of fear, the type of just kind of, like, disrespect, resentment, like, just everything. And like, don't get it twisted. Like, just because you're worth $100 million doesn't, just because someone's worth $100 million doesn't mean that they have $100 million to go fight a $42 billion corporation. You get what I'm saying? So then you have to make that choice between like, am I gonna go to therapy and try to heal myself? And then nowadays, when you're a celebrity, it's like, you can't be seen walking out of just like some regular ass therapy clinic. People are gonna think you're on welfare. People are gonna think you're on or that you're broke or whatever. But paying for those expensive Hollywood therapists, especially, that I'm speaking from experience, like just as an independent artist, like who has to pay for every costume, who has to book every flight, who has to pay every per diem, who has to pay every salary. Everything you've seen me do since 2016 has come out of my own pocket. Even when 2014, like I paid for the Ice Princess video. I paid for the Heavy Metal and Reflective video. Like I paid a lot of money for these videos. So yeah, there were lots and actually, like, there'll be so many times that y'all didn't know that I couldn't that. Of course I could afford therapy, but like I really couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't be affording to pay some lady like $600 a session. What is that? $1,800 a week, when I gotta pay a tour manager, or I gotta pay my personal assistant $1,800 a week. and I gotta pay the tour manager $1,000 a week, and you know the drummers this amount of show. And yes, Azealia Banks is the only fucking person in the industry who actually pays her dancers. You gotta worry about like dancers' money, and sometimes the dancers have kids, and you know, you like, especially with me, like I like my dancers, like I keep my dancers, and like I keep them in pairs. And else, if you're like a hairstylist and you're like, oh well, it depends on how much I love you and how long I've known you. Like I love Liz Owosu, I will do anything for Liz. But you know, if you're coming to do my hair and you start how you don't have babysitter and all that other shit, I really won't care. I'll be like, whatever. But my dancers, like, no, because my bitches gotta be limber, and my bitches gotta have money to go get a salad and a green juice and all that, and a little souvenir, you know, like a nice tub to relax their muscles in, because y'all bitches are really working the hardest on my stage. But I pay for that. I don't just like shit on people. So anyways, I'm saying all this to say that, Nikki, you're being cornered, but you're being cornered by like, maybe you're like under so much of an attack that you can't really open your eyes and like really like see all your enemies like clear, all your enemies dead and alive. But I could see them all, and I've seen them all for a very long time, and whoever is working with them not keeping the altar right, like now is your time to burst through with some fucking like that kid shit, that shit that made like little kids, like, because that's like, I'm not trying to say that's your core audience, but girl, you know, a mother will spend any money to get her kid to shut the fuck up. I don't have it in me. I'm too jaded, just like you said. Like, I wish your mother would have hugged you too. My mother never fucking hugged me, bitch. I don't have it in me to like entertain kids and do all that other stuff. And nobody can fuck with you in that arena. Like, you're unfuckwittable in that arena. Whether they want to call it hip hop or not, fuck them. Fuck them. Because that's your like, that's your star. You don't have to pretend to be like this like ghetto bitch from the hood. Like, you know, didn't you start rapping to get out of the hood? Don't go back into the hood. Because that's what these white men that see your black ass on top of the fucking pile of money want for you. Like, that's the evilness in them. They're like, I want to snatch this fucking black bitch back down to the hood so that she or nobody like her ever think that they could climb up on top of this fucking tower again. Ever the fuck again. Like, no, Nikki really climbed, like, you know, like knee, hoof, fucking fingernail and jaw, and got up there sweating like when the Rocky theme song started playing. A lot of these girls, they're on cranes. You know, they get picked up by cranes, and their feet never even touch the mountain. You know, they're just kind of like dangling in the air, and they do their little 1-2, and then they just switch them out. Now that they have Nikki in a place where, like, yeah, they've discouraged her. And once you're discouraged, then it's hard. It's hard. Like, trust me, they tried to do it to me so many fucking times, and it was a struggle to, like, get yourself mentally together. I know. But the saddest thing about all of this is that no matter how much all the rap girls wanted to be friends and have, like, a big slumber party and hang out and eat the cake and, you know, it's not in white men's financial interest for any of these girls to be friends. It's super slave mentality shit. It's not in their interest for any of us to be friends, for any of us to come up with any ideas on our own. Because, yeah, they got us for the music, but, like, you know, they've catapulted all of us up to these, like, you know, pedestals, or just kind of just, like, places of public notoriety where, you know, capitalism runs free. So in their minds, they're thinking, holy shit, if Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and Azealia Banks form some fucking company and it blasts off into a corporation that can rival many other corporations, because when you really look at companies like Universal Music Group or Warner or whatever, in the grand scheme of all the money on earth, they are not worth anything. So sure, the 42 something whatever $billion that Universal is worth, there's a called Google that's worth like trillions more. You know, there's a company called Amazon that's worth lots more. So the whole system of debt and desperation becomes like once we can recognize that that's the game they're playing, debt and desperation, and realize that this is America, capitalism reigns supreme, and figure out ways to become richer than them without including them in the getting of that money. Cause that has been my thing. It's just like, damn, everywhere you turn, there's like some fucking white man. Like, God damn it. God damn it. It'd be like VC capital, fuck. These niggas over here again. You know what I'm saying? Like some random guy, he's like, yeah, my wife loves Miss Camaraderie. What do you do? God damn it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? But those are just my morning rantings. Yesterday, I microdosed some shrooms. So like synapses are just connecting like crazy. And I'm really happy today. I'm probably gonna rant all fucking day because I microdosed yesterday.